welcome to Hariyadi Sukamdani, who combines a large number of roles, but perhaps in the tourism sector, he's known, first of all, as the general head, the Ketua Umum of the PHRI, the Hotel and Restaurant Association. But of course, he comes from the most venerated and admired hotelier family, the Sukamdani family, who started the Sahid hotels so many years ago and were trailblazers in tourism. Welcome, Pak Hariyadi.
Yeah,
thank you very much for being with us.
Yeah.
Tourism has taken the biggest hit really of all sectors over this last COVID pandemic. But now we seem to have some traction going in the Ministry of Tourism. The Ministry of Tourism has started just 2 days ago in its first English language announcement. The minister, Pak Sandiaga Uno, said that probably Bali will open in June or July, depending on 3 different conditions to do with the pandemic and preparedness. But they have proposed different sectors which should be prioritized: nature and culture, wellness, education, medical tourism, sports, and ecotourism. That seems like a good list for tourism in general. But will it work for the rest of Indonesia? Because you're represented all over the archipelago, and especially in the business centers of Jakarta, Surabaya, and other major cities. What do you think of this prioritization, Pak Hariyadi?
Yeah, so I think the most important is to open all our tourist destination like Bali, Bintan, and also Manado, yeah, that they are very dependent for the international tourists, because their capacity, especially like in Bali, do you know, it's more than 160,000 rooms there. So it's really a big capacity that cannot fulfill by the domestic travelers or domestic tourists. So that is the most important. So about the Pak Sandi said about the prioritize for the some sectors in the tourism, like nature and culture, wellness, education, medical tourism, sports, and ecotourism. I think all that sectors we already have, and about the supporting for all the sectors is there. I think it's already quite complete. So the most important, as I said, it's how to open without any delay, because Bali, like before, we have planned in October. We have planned to first of October we'll open, and then delayed to December. December delayed to January, then now to June and July. So yeah, this is, I think we should do really a proper regulation to open, like for example for the requirement for like the tourists who has already vaccine, for example, then they can have a more flexibility to enter, or some from the original country or original cities that already in the green zone, they can also goes to Bali or whatever the destination like Bintan, Manado. So I think this is more important, I think. So the key factors, it's to have the date to open. And if you look like other country, like for example, like Turkey, Turkey actually they never close the country for the tourists, and so far they can manage the cases there. So I think if we can learn from other country who they still open and they can control, I think we can do something more more strategically to open, Pak. Yeah.
You mentioned the green zones, Pak Hariyadi. Green zones are areas of low transmission, low infection, which have been declared by the Ministry of Health to be relatively safe. There's also green corridors, which we're talking about. How do the green corridors and green zones work together?
Yeah, I think for the green zone, it's about the places that the population there we can categorize zone green. So there is no cases there. The green corridors actually it's to connected between two places, green zone and green zone. That's called the green corridors. So we can do that as far as that's very interesting. Like Bali and Bintan, because they are an island, so it's more easy to control actually. So now it's depend on how government can really confident to open, Pak. Because you know that everyone goes to the now in Indonesia. If we are using the airplane, we must have the COVID test. So I think this is the first screen that quite important for the health protocol to avoid the spreading of the virus.
Yes, and I think you're absolutely right there. And there's been a great amount of vaccination going on in the tourism industry, the frontliners, to really enable this as well, which is very important. But now you and I are talking by Zoom, and lots of people are talking by Zoom. How do we get business travelers to come back to Indonesia when now Zoom is so easy? You don't need to come from Hong Kong or New York to do business in Indonesia. You just do what we're doing right now. Are we going to see a downturn in the whole MICE business because of this? Or are you still optimistic people will come back on business?
We still confident. We still optimistic that it will be back, the recovery for the MICE business, because the nature of the human is the social creature. They cannot be alone or asocial. They have the socialize. So I think this is cannot be replaced by long distance communication like Zoom. So sooner or later it will back. And if you are talking about the tourism, you are talking about the MICE, we are talking about the experience. So the experience cannot replaced by Zoom. Yeah. So I think it's still on, still process to fully recovery. For example, like in Jakarta, for instance, even though the social distancing here it's still on with the micro social distancing now, but if you look the meetings, it's already start. Yeah. Of course, the numbers of the participant is still in the small numbers, but you see that actually they are starting. And if Jakarta is it's quite strict for the social distancing, but if you look surrounding Jakarta, like Bintaro, Bekasi, Tangerang, they already started for the meeting, Pak. So we believe that the MICE will back.
Absolutely, I've just been to Sentul, Bogor, and Puncak. And the hotels there are doing very well and enjoying the whole meetings. So you're absolutely right. People like to meet and they're looking for that quality of experience as well.
Yeah. Last week, Bogor, for the hotels in Bogor, they recorded about 80 to 90% occupancy, Pak. I'm really surprising. Last week they report like that.
Very good to hear. I was in Jogja last week as well, so they're doing well as well. Not quite as well, but coming through.
Starting.
Now, the minister also talked about something which you and I totally agree on, I know, quality tourism rather than quantity. We've been talking about this for years, how to get the quality back in Indonesian tourism, rather than just focusing on the numbers.
Yeah, it's really interesting when we are talking about the quality tourism or quantity tourism. So in Indonesia, we do both. I think we do both because it's depend on the destination. For instance, like Borobudur. Borobudur, if you are talking about the temple, the Candi Borobudur itself, oh, this is really cannot be a mess. The people come to the Borobudur because this is a very strict for the ancient building, for the old building. Like for example, like in Pulau Komodo Island. Of course, this is the Taman Nasional, so it cannot be do for the mass tourism to go there. So it's depend on Pak. So but we must do both because we have also potentially for the quantity tourism also. So when the destination needs for the quality, of course we must setting like for the quality tourism. It means that we more put the quality of the product itself, and also the quality of the visitors. So like in the quantity, of course, we can do many places that we can optimize for the mass tourism or the quantity tourism.
I know that the Garuda and the airline people totally agree with you because they need to fill their seats. And certainly the many, many three-star hotels throughout the archipelago who have been built for this quantity tourism will also very much agree with you. And a little bit of a panic if we're only going to focus on five-star visitors. So your combination seems to hit the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
We're looking at a whole bunch of ideas that the ministry has come up with, but you and PHRI are at the core of the private sector. What are your ideas for this return of tourism? What are the new ideas that you and your hotel owning and hotel managing colleagues are looking at to make tourism quite quickly come back and build back better if possible?
Yeah. So I think the important things, it's for the vaccination, Pak. So if we do the vaccination really fast, quick, then it can be make people more confident to make the activities. So if we can do this, and we believe that government, the Indonesian government is very seriously to catch up the schedule. If we can do this, let's say on target until June, Pak, I think end of this year the tourism will be back. At least some cities in the city city destination in the like a city hotel, for example, it will be back soon. Because now, if you look all over Indonesia, suffering not just only for the resort, but also for the city city destination. Yeah. So I think if we can do this, end of this year will be more good impact for the tourism.
I think you're absolutely right, Pat. Bandung, I know, is going to rebound very quickly. Jogja and Solo, Semarang as well. What about somewhere like Lombok? That seems to be really missing out. That seems to be a bit more of a difficulty.
Lombok, we try, but now we have the cooperation with AirAsia. So we do join bundling their ticket and our rooms. Starting the package is 969,000 rupiah for 3 days and 2 nights.
Oh.
So yeah, so we do for Lombok and for Medan, Jakarta Lombok, Jakarta Medan. So we will see the impact this month. We hope that before Ramadan we can see the result. But yes, we do to do like this package, Pak. Yeah, so for to support Lombok, because Lombok, you are right, it's very challenging because Lombok, it's really depend on Bali. Because Lombok like a spillover from Bali. So if Bali full, then goes to Lombok. But now we are trying to make a more promotion for Lombok with the cheap air ticket.
Well, according to the minister and in discussion with the president, Bali will open in June or July. if all of the three conditions are met. So maybe that will see finally the return of tourism to Indonesia. We certainly hope so. But we're going to keep this tourism interview very short. We'd like to thank you very much on behalf of now Jakarta and now Bali. We know that you've got so much to do, and we're all right behind you and PHRI in your efforts to make Indonesian tourism return. Thank you very much indeed, Pak Hariyadi.
And thank you, Alistair. Yeah.